Good evening, YouTube family. Welcome to another Two Family Homestead live stream. Woo!
Well,
good evening, YouTube family. Welcome to another Two Family Homestead.
This is working okay. How we doing here? See what's going on here. Looks like everything's... There we go. That'll help. That should help the sound a little bit. We should be better on the sound. So how's everybody doing? So we got a few in here. Dutch Off Grid, The Lears, Cecilia Jansen, Copper Kettle, Walsh Farms. Let me check something real quick here. Yeah. Cecilia, I'm not coming up with you. Cecilia wrote me a question, and I'm not sure that I understand the question well enough to help you. So maybe we can talk about that here for just a moment. Well, I think you should have a picture. Does Dutch just not have a picture, or do we should be broadcasting? Looks to me like we have a picture. Anyway, Cecilia Jansen, let's go on here for just a moment. She wrote me a question that pertains to not seeing somebody in the chat, and I'm assuming, this is an assumption, she's talking about in a live stream chat like this. For example, I'm guessing, help me if I'm wrong here, but just for example, for some reason, let's just say Cecilia is not able to see Geeky Gardens. Anything that Geeky Gardens writes, she's not able to see it. However, she can see other people's response to Geeky Gardens type thing. Am I understanding that correctly? So I'm kind of let her... Yeah, I know someone is talking in the chat, but I do not see it. But I see the response from somebody else. Let me, let's get rid of a couple of potential issues, Cecilia. Number one, are you doing these streams? Are you participating on a computer device, or on a tablet, or a phone? How are you? What device are you using to join into the streams? I see she's saying yes, 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 but I don't know if that's to my question as far as what device she's using. Stringfield Ridge Farm. Yeah, you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. Sherry is, she's overdone a little bit. As many of you know, she had surgery last week, and I think she's just kind of overdone a little bit. And so she is not at my side tonight. She's in the other room, kind of laying down, just taking it easy. So all you have is me. So bear with me here. Okay, a laptop, a 1-year-old Acer. Cecilia, let me also ask you, is this something like on one of our streams where I can kind of narrow it down? Is there somebody here, for example, you're not able to see? Or you think anyway that they're talking, let's just say Mama Z's or Making Lemonade or somebody like that is talking and you can't see them, but you can see other people responding to them. I'm trying to figure this out for you because the only thing I can come up with is that somehow you have that user blocked. And that is a possibility. But if I understand correctly, you also went into the area where you have all of your quote-unquote hidden users, blocked users, into your YouTube studio. You went into that area and didn't find any such user. Now, I did see in some of the research that I did that for whatever reason, you may have to go into that area, and I would write down any users that you have there, and then unblock everybody to see if that gets it working again, because maybe it's something hidden somehow, whatever. So I cannot see. Okay. The other thing you can try that I'd like for you to try, because I can't duplicate this. I mean, I can intentionally block a user where I don't see him. Other people can see him, but I can't see him. I can block him off the channel from here so nobody can see him. And what's interesting is they can be on the channel and they just don't even know that they don't exist here to anybody. Do not have anyone blocked. All right, Cecilia, try a different browser. I'm gonna assume you're probably using the Google Chrome browser. So try Firefox as a browser and see if that changes things for you. I have gotten into some situations where I've had to reset Chrome to its default settings to get something back, to get it to work. So, Homestead Paradise, I never really gave that a thought, that maybe they have her blocked. So I think what we need to do is we're going to have to open up among friends here and get some traction on a stream wherever this is happening, where you have some known people. For example, almost, if not all, the people in here, I would certainly communicate with them offline, trade phone numbers or whatever, where I could have them on the phone and say, okay, this is what I'm seeing on my end. What are you seeing? So, well, that was coming to the other thing. Always make sure you have on live chat. And Sean, part of the thing is, it's very, very easy, especially now. Look, well, it's harder for me to do that here. But it's very, very easy to block a user. Just a wrong click very quickly can do that. Had my feed freeze more lately, so I had to close the live and reload it. Wow. Okay. So anyway, let me first ask you: is the volume okay? Is the sound good? Is the picture good? All that, everything doing good. Everything looks very good on this end. I'm not seeing any issues here. Check a couple other streams. Okay. So what I kind of wanted to talk about tonight is the creation of videos. We realize most of you folks out there, not everybody, but most of you folks are also content creators. That's our biggest audience is content creators. We have some wonderful individuals that maybe currently do not have content, but maybe they want to in the future. That's just our biggest audience. So I wanted to address that a little bit and talk about how are you making your videos. We have talked a lot about editing. We've talked a lot about presenting your channel, making banners, doing channel art, editing both photos and videos, and all that. But let's take that back to the raw video. Let's take that back to the raw video here once. And what do you guys use to create your videos? So if you would, just kind of type in the chat, are you using a phone? Are you using I'm going to use the term camera. The camera would include either an SLR or a point and shoot, but that would include a camera. If you are using like an action camera, like a Hero or something like that, just put in action. Or are you using a camcorder, in which case just type the word cam in. And let me see what you guys are using. Phone. I see a phone. Somebody's using a phone. iPhone, my phone. Phone. A Canon M6, okay. Phone. Okay, a Samsung phone plus a T7i and a Mavic Air drone, which would kind of fall into an action camera type thing. Hey, Grizz, how you doing? Grizz, you need to when you're done here, you need to go check out Doug and Stacy. He's got his sawmill going. He could use some of your help, I believe. Okay, phone for recording, desktop for editing and making special videos using OBS. Okay, well, if you looked at the thumbnail for tonight's video, you'll see that I included a few pictures of representations of various types of devices. And one thing that I had on there that nobody here has said is, and that's a webcam. And you can use a webcam to make a video. There's no doubt about it. You can do that. I mean, that's what I'm live streaming with. So you can use a oh, well, Grizz, send him an email. So, all right. Anyway, where was I at? I guess it kind of caught me by surprise. I wouldn't think you'd have him on block. But a webcam can make a decent video. One of the things you can do with a webcam is you can mount it on a tripod. You can mount it on a stick, move it around. Very lightweight. And the majority, not all, but the majority of webcams also have microphones in them, so you could potentially use that mic. So that is probably your most inexpensive camera. And I don't know where everybody draws the line at being expensive, but a pretty good quality webcam can be had for in the, I'm going to say $40 to $100 range. There are some that are a little more expensive, but you can get a pretty good webcam for that. Now, let me ask another question. Do any of you record all your videos in 4K? Or do you record in 1080p or 720? Brenda, what kind of webcam did you get? Logitech? Okay, Elflow's dirty. It's going to depend. I mean, if you have, for example, if you have a laptop or a tablet, no, it's not hard to take it out. You are kind of limited by an umbilical cord, but that certainly isn't end of the world. So yeah, you can definitely take them out. Okay. Okay, and I see that Sean in Alaska is using some 4K selectively. And I will be the first one to tell you, if you use 4K, just get out your billful, because everything you do is going to cost you more money. You're going to need more space on the hard drive. You're going to need a more powerful computer to properly edit that video. Everything's bigger and is harder. I'm going to say harder because of the size difference to do. 60 frames a second is not that big of a deal if you have a reason to do that. And I don't know if you folks are aware of this or not, but I will go ahead and share it. Most of the big screen movies, the cinema type presentations, if you've ever gone to a movie theater, most of those are done at about 24 frames a second, or not even 30. So, I mean, you can produce some pretty yeah, we can show that. Simply Southern Roots. That is correct. YouTube instituted that rule that you cannot go live from a handheld device without having 1,000 subscribers. However, there are ways around that, and I'm sure that there's some folks in here that would be more than happy to share that with you. But pretty much what it amounts to is that if you want to go live from a phone, you need to have an app. On the phone and go live from that app. Logitech C615 portable HD webcam. HD is probably a 1080. Use 4K mainly for landscapes. I had to move this. I didn't lose it, and I lost it. Southern Ohio prepping 25 frames. Yeah, 24.9 or 25. I use 4K mainly for landscapes, but have a new laptop and 10 terabyte of separate storage. Yeah, and you can use that up in a hurry. So I'm hoping you have that separate storage on at least USB 3 type connectivity to get as much speed through that as possible. Can you tell us what apps it would be to go live from a phone? Streamlabs has an app. Streamlabs has an app that you can do that. Most any app on your phone, as long as you're not trying to go directly through YouTube, you can do that. Because if you can stream live from a desktop computer, from a laptop, and it's just simply because you have a handheld device that it's not allowing you to stream live by quote-unquote fooling YouTube, you can go ahead and stream live. Lazy Bunny, 10 terabyte, holy cow. Well, that's 10 terabyte used to be a big number. It's not so big anymore, just to be real blunt about it. Yeah, CJM Farms went through 2 terabytes, 2 months. Okay, well, let's kind of move on here a little bit. I have, if I can find it here. One of the creators on YouTube that I watch, and I respect their thoughts and opinions very much, is a channel by the name of Think Media. THINK Media, MEDIA. They've got over 1 million subscribers. They specialize in gear. Not only cameras, but microphones and so on and so forth. And he did a live stream here not too long ago, very short time ago, that he was talking about the best camera and equipment for YouTube in 2020. So I have some clips from that, and I'd like to play these clips, and let's just kind of discuss it here. So let me play through his first little deal here. And okay, and before I start this, I see that Farm Oki Sati is asking, how do you tell? And I'm not sure what you're referring to. And I also see Grizz is helping somebody out. Apparently StreamYards has a deal where you can use your cell phone and go live if you have less than 1,000. So I'm sure you're going to find some people in here that can help you do that. All right, so this is just a few clips from his stream. So let's play a little bit of what he has to say, and then let's talk about it here. So let me know if the sound is okay.
So in 2020 and beyond, it is still my belief that the best all-around camera for YouTube is the Canon M50. And we're going to be talking this camera now. Let me know in the comments, what camera are you currently shooting with? You can grab this guy refurbished with a 1-year warranty off the Canon website for around $479 here in the US with the kit lens. I think that if you're shooting 1080p, it's some of the best, it's one of the best cameras out there.
Okay. So he, in his opinion, camera-wise, and we'll get into that here just for a moment, the Canon M50 is the camera that he feels is one of the best, and I would certainly have to agree with him. Now, the M50 is not a new, fresh-out camera. It's been out there for a while. So there is kind of some newer stuff that's, I'm not going to say it's replaced it because the M50 is still available. But there is a step up, and he's going to talk about that here in just a moment. But this is a mirrorless camera. It's kind of like an SLR, which is a single lens reflex. Does not have a mirror in it, so it is not an SLR. It is a mirrorless camera. That's the designation on it. The only way you can actually see what you're shooting is through the viewfinder on the back. But it's a great camera that the focus is very good. The color is very good. It has the ability to attach a mic to the outside of it. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more of what he's got to say here.
But the other new, really the new M50 is the Canon M6 Mark II. And I don't think that the M50 is a great 4K camera. It has a crazy crop factor. You lose good autofocus. The M6 Mark II solved all of that.
Okay. So the M6 Mark II is the one that kind of replaced that. And Efficiency in Low Life is saying, so if I grab a Canon M50, then what will I need for my editing as my laptop is junk? Well, that depends. That depends on how fancy you want to edit. Let's go with that. How fancy do you want to be in editing? Now, some of the stuff that I do, I guess I'm a little bit more on the geeky side. I like to create the unusual. For example, the backgrounds that I have going in the live streams here. You don't see that on too many other channels. I hope it's not too distracting. But that's not the kind of thing you necessarily just find all the time. A lot of that stuff I've created. And in doing videos where I have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different cameras, angles, cameras that record it all at the same time on the subject, and I'm going back between all those, well, that takes a lot more horsepower than a lightweight editor. So depending upon what you choose to do and how much you choose to edit and how fancy you want to get it. If yours is, how do I want to say this? For example, there is a channel, a gentleman's name is out of Canada, and the channel is AVE. Now, I will forewarn you, his language is not always Sunday school language. Let's put it that way. But it's a very interesting channel. He's an engineer by trade, I believe. And you never see him. His camera points at whatever he's doing, and his forte is buying things and tearing them apart, seeing how they work, and then putting them back together. So it's kind of a back end review channel of whatever it is he's looking at, and he deals with some high dollar stuff, and he deals with some lightweight stuff. But you never see him. His videos would have to be the easiest things ever to edit. So, all right. So let's go back to Sean's video here. And what he does is he is considering in this video. He is not considering phones. He is not considering camcorders. He is not considering action cameras. He is just looking at, actually, he's not even really talking point and shoot. He does mention point and shoot, a couple point and shoots. But for the most part, he's talking the equivalent of a single lens reflex or mirrorless camera, which has interchangeable lenses. And in his opinion, that's the best quality you're going to get. And it may be for the money. But let's go ahead and see what he's got to say here.
Here are my top recommendations for 2020 for cameras for YouTube. Disclaimer. You could save money by buying some older models. There's nothing wrong with the T3i, T5i, T6i. Other disclaimer, I'm not really going to talk about Nikon. I don't think they're super relevant for YouTube creators, YouTube content creators. Nikon does some good photography. The full frame mirrorless line's great. Filmmakers. But like for what you need as a YouTube creator, every camera I'm going to talk about has a flip screen. Every camera I'm going to talk about has good autofocus. So I'm not going to talk about Panasonic. If you want a cheap budget 4K camera, the G7 or the G85 are amazing, but the autofocus is not super dependable. I'm talking about put it on a tripod, tap your face to focus, flip screen, mic input, YouTube cameras. Okay. And we're going to talk about different budgets. So if you got $450 to $700, I'm recommending the M50. The A6100 would be Sony's competitor to the M50, and the Canon SL3 would be basically an M50 in a DSLR body. In a future video, I'll talk about the 4 or 5 things you'd want to consider about even when you invest in a camera, about maybe thinking about the future. What's the lens lineup? What's the lens mount? The lens mount for the M50 is kind of limited lenses, but now there's the Sigma ones, and so it's getting better. So thinking about future proofing, thinking about the features you need. But these are really it. I think that at this price range, I'm going with either the M50, that'd still be my go-to. And what's crazy is you can actually grab the M50 like certified refurbished off of the Canon website for $479 with a 1-year warranty. So it's basically good as new. And so that's definitely worth checking out. And let me know what you think.
Okay. So I did not disagree necessarily with anything he said. And I know that we have a lot of phone users out there. But if you do decide to get a piece of equipment that's primarily to make YouTube videos, I think he's on a very good track here. He mentioned some key points. Microphone input. And here's some of the advantages of having an external microphone input. Number one, the microphone quality is better. You can get very high quality microphones to make that sound. There are a lot of people, a lot of YouTube creators actually, that carry a audio recorder in addition to their camera. So they have 2 separate devices. And of course they don't have to start them as long as the audio recorder is on when the camera's on. But what they need to do is they need to have a way to sync those together. And one of the ways to do that would be like an old clapboard. And of course that's the old movie thing where it had the stripes on it, the board snaps together and action and that type of thing. But the reason they did that was not to say action. The reason they did that was to sync the audio with the picture. Once they have that sync point moving forward, all is good. Provided they have that in a linear type editor where if they make any cuts or anything, they are also making those same cuts within the audio. So that's just a different way to do it. I'm assuming very few, if anybody, wants to mess with that. They're just going to want to use a combination video audio format that the camera produces. But some of the things he talked about here that are very, very important are autofocusing. That's you don't want to have to try to focus, and if you're doing self views, that's not even possible. It has to be a good autofocus. And he mentioned one there that's pretty weak on autofocus, and that's why I said, well, we're not talking about it. He also mentioned Nikon is not a contender. When we first started in YouTube, I mean, I have a Nikon camera. I used to do some photography, the old 35 millimeter stuff. And my first foray into the digital world of cameras, well, I bought a Nikon because I had a Nikon 35 millimeter that I used. Well, that was probably the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Does it do video? Yeah, it does. not very well, but it does do video. So anyway, Nikon is they're just not a game player in this. The cameras that he's talking about here, I'm going to say, are of the upper end of the consumer type camera, venturing into what would be called a prosumer type camera. So let's go ahead and go a little further here, because he's now up the ante. He said if you got between $800 and $1,000 to spend.
If I jumped up in budget, I had $800 to $1,000 to spend, I would either go with the Canon M6 Mark II or the Sony A6400. Both have phase detection autofocus, both have flip screens, both have mic inputs.
Okay, so he's given a couple more choices on the next rung up the ladder. Now, at that point, if you're already up to almost $1,000, well, what's another couple $100 among friends, right? So he goes ahead and steps it up one more time.
So then, if I had, I actually want to say the price I would change on here would be from kind of more like 1,000 and up, or 1,000 to 2,000, as is not pictured correctly on the screen yet. I would go with to 1,200, I should say, 1,000 to 1,200. There you go. I would go with the Canon 90D or the A6600. You're noticing a trend here. Again, nothing against Fuji or anything else. I think, though, that the most practical, user-friendly, best bang for your buck, lens lineups, most readily available features, these are the ones. Like, I think Canon and Sony have really the market. And if we go back, I would say that at the M50 level, this is going to be 1080p. The Alpha 6100 is going to give you 4K at a much more affordable level. And SL3 is basically an M50 and a DSLR body, so it's not really going to... This is kind of the 1080p level. If you want 4K, you got to jump up to this, and that could future-proof you a little bit. And then if you wanted to go into a little higher end with higher end features, Canon 90D and A6600. Worth mentioning, the Canon EOS RP, that's gone kind of crippled down to 1080 only. And for $1,000, it's also a full frame camera.
Okay, so there's kind of the gamut that he rolls by. He gives you his reasonings behind it, and I totally agree with everything he said there as far as his reasonings. So I think he's spot on here. He has got just a ton of videos, not only on these cameras, but also on other things such as lights and mics and so forth. And he'll talk a little bit about more of that here. So let's go ahead and get to the next clip here.
Disclaimers. Number one, obviously there are other brands, but I think these are the relevant ones. Number two, if you want a point shoot camera, I think the Sony RX100 or the G7X, I'm not even kind of including those in this conversation. Number three, I think the GoPro Hero 8, the Osmo Action are some incredible cameras that can be multi-purpose. But I'm talking for like workhorse, photography, video, vlogging, all around lineup of cameras. And then really number four, we're not talking full frame. If you move into a full frame sensor, sure, with the EOS RP, you could touch on that. But with full frame, you know, we love the A7 III. I think that the EOS R and the new full frame mirrorless camera from Canon is something to consider. One other thing to consider here is that, of course, lens mounts. For the Sony cameras, it's all the Sony E mount. For the Canon 90D and like the SL3, you have the EFS mount. So you have a ton of mounts. For the Canon mirrorless cameras, you just have the EFM mounts, but you can put an adapter on and get the whole EF mount.
Okay, so again, with his reasoning there, when you're moving into cameras like he's talking about here, you're never going to be happy with one lens. You're going to want to get multiple lenses as you develop and move forward, unless you're content is so contained on a specific subject. Now, I see we have somebody that came in the chat here. I'll just mention Cooking with Doug. Great fella, great channel if you like seeing a fella cook with anything but an oven and a pot. So he just doesn't cook with the regular stuff. He's got to have gadgets, and he does a fantastic job with that. But his show is cooking. That's what he does. And so he may not want or have a use for multiple cameras or multiple lenses. But let's just say that a typical homesteading channel, well, now maybe you're going to be doing some videos on gardening from maybe further away or maybe up close. And maybe you're going to be doing some foraging videos. Maybe you're going to be doing some videos on construction, building a greenhouse. Maybe you're going to get into some low light situations or something extra bright, or you want something that's that you can get a good panoramic view of a large area. So this is all reasons where you may choose to have something where you can utilize different lenses. One of the downfalls on all these cameras, although it's gotten much, much better, just in the past 5 years, it has gotten much better. But a microphone is a weak spot on most cameras for a couple reasons. Number one, it's hidden within the camera. It's got little tiny holes to allow sound in. It's not a big on the outside. It's not designed to point in any one given direction. Now, granted, they've made some improvements on them, and for what they do, for the capabilities that they have, they do okay. They do okay, but if you've been if you're a YouTube gamer, you're going to want the ability to have an external mic. And one of the best mics, he talks about it right here.
So what is the best all-around mic when it comes to price, performance, value, and all the above? Well, definitely one of the best is the Rode Video Mic, but specifically with the Studio Boom Kit. So why do I think that this is one of the best? Well, number one, it's a super solid shotgun mic just all around. It's really well made. It picks up great audio. It has cool settings, and Rode backs it by like a 10-year warranty. So you know that you're investing in quality right off the bat. But number two, when you get it with the Studio Boom Kit, it becomes very versatile. First, you can put it on camera. Now this makes it great for YouTubers, specifically if you're using like a wide angle lens. This lens is the Canon 10 to 22, so it's super wide. I can be right here in front of the lens and you're hearing the shotgun mic right now picking up the audio on camera. So it's super simple and easy to just plug it into the mic input of whatever camera you have, as long as it has a mic input. And then it's got two different settings on the back. You can just turn it on to the middle and that's just normal, or you can turn it on to a high pass filter, which cuts out like air conditioner noise or road noise and stuff if you're outside.
Okay. And it just so happens I own that microphone. And that's the microphone that I use in not all of our recordings, because we make a lot of our videos we make with cell phones, but I use that microphone on a camcorder. It's plugged into a camcorder, and that just happens to be my choice of weapons. I have often considered a Canon M50 or that type of a camera. I've just never pulled the trigger on it. I have to afford it first. I have to have enough surplus money from various things that we do here. Sherry making the mask and me making some of the decals and iron-on patches, maybe some of the woodworking and stuff that I do. If I make enough extra in doing that I can justify or maybe not even justify, but treat myself to go out and spend $500 or $600 or $700 on a camera, then that's what I would do. So let's go back. He's got just a little bit more here. So this is his recommendations, a recap.
If you got $450 to $700, grab the M50, grab the A6100, or grab the Canon SL3, and we'll do future videos with more in depth. Obviously, I'm not going to go into all the nuances of those, but these are my top picks at that price range. Even SL2, if you want to drop down, and still a good, solid one. Although for the refurbished Canon price that I'm obsessed with at $480 on the website, SL2 is $550 on Amazon. And so you might be able to save a little on that too if you were to pick one up somewhere. But next up, if you got $800 to $1,000, I'm going Canon M6 Mark II or the Sony A6400. I like the ergonomics, the experience, the speed of the M6 Mark II, the larger megapixels, the photos, the uncropped 4K. The A6400 crops a little on 30 frames. Canon back-proofed 24 frames into cameras, so that whole drama was resolved when it was only 30. And so, but I think the A6400, that's still one of our top picks too. No record limit. And that's actually what we use to film events. I'd rather be vlogging and shooting YouTube all day long with the M6 Mark II. If I wanted an all-around powerhouse, I'd probably get the A6400 for more slow motion opportunities and a few other, well, not even actually, they're comparable slow motion wise. I think you still have autofocus and slow motion. This video is not about details. And then you said 90D or M50. Well, dude, 90D, if you got $1,200, compared to 500. So, 90D or A6600, it's been interesting.
Okay. So that's, let me go ahead and shut that off for the moment here. All right. So that's what I cut out of his video. That video was it was about an hour long. It was actually a live stream that he did. And, I think that Sean is an absolute great content creator. I think that his recommendations and so forth are pretty spot on. And I've noticed some of the comments going through here about, wow, that's a lot of expense. It's very expensive. Can't afford that. Got to have a rich aunt die and what have you. Well, let's talk about something else here too. I wonder how many people would have your phone in your pocket if you had to go out and pay retail price for that phone. And then, on top of that, then pay the phone bill. Because we all have smartphones. I bet there's probably nobody in here that doesn't have a smartphone. And the prices on a smartphone start where? $400, $500 to go a new one, and they go up to $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 for a phone. So that's pretty expensive. But you've gotten sucked in with your provider that, oh well, just for $30 a month you can have this phone. Well, that's $30 on top of your regular bill, and well, okay, I can eat that. So now I'm spending $65 or $75 or $100 a month for my phone bill, but a full third of that is maybe going to paying for that phone over a 2-year period, 3-year period. Cecilia says, "I do not have a smartphone." You are probably the only one in here that doesn't have a smartphone, and I'm gonna use the term smartphone as something that connects to the internet, where you can actually perhaps open up a browser, send or receive emails. I'm going to use that as the basis of a smartphone. If you have a phone that can do that, where you can send an email, where you can look at Facebook, where you can see a YouTube video, where you can connect to the internet, play a game. If you can do anything other than just call and send what's called an SMS message, then you have a smartphone. I see a Fishes and Loaves says, yep, that the phone for monthly payment bill is not cheap. Starting from scratch. Phone bill, $55 a month. Let's see what... let me get this brought back up over here. Let's just see what this says here. Average phone bill. And let's just go for one person. Okay, so depending on the service, and of course that's what it's going to be. Verizon pops right up here. 2 gigabytes of shared data. This for a single person is $55 a month. Well, 2 gigabytes goes in a big hurry, I can tell you that right now. So if you went with the Get More Unlimited, well, now you're up to $90 a month. That's for a single person. But that is also not showing. That's low cost cell phone plans. So that's not including the phone. Here we go. Average cell phone bill is now $114 a month. $20 average monthly expenses to include in your budget. Let's see what that says. Food, utility bills. Idaho residents pay the least for heat, gas, water, electric, cable, and internet. $344 a month. Cell phone, here we go. Monthly wireless fees run from $35 to $140 for a family plan. But if you get only basic service with no data, you can get it for like $10 a month. Probably few, if any, have that here. So I guess I wanted to just point out that you may think that $500 is a lot of money for the camera. It's a lot of money for a phone, too. Action cameras. You can do pretty well at $250 to $300 for a good action camera, for a good hero action cam. For a camcorder, you might as well start at about $200. Now, I'm just using those as examples. In trying to do some more research for this program here tonight, I did some searching on YouTube. I said, what's the best vlogging camera of 2020? You're going to find tons of information here. You're going to find just absolutely tons of information. So let's say, well, what's the best YouTube camera? And I just want you to notice the first couple that came up here, this is Think Media. And here's another Think Media. So he obviously is, well thought of. Now, here's something that I did not expect. I ran across I'm going to call this a new creator in the camera market. But I do want to share this fellow with you. And this is his primary or original channel. And it's health, success, relationships, love, or anything. You can see here he's got 268,000 subscribers. He has got a ton of subscribers. But he started a new YouTube channel on cameras, of all things. And this is his trailer video, and I do want you to notice here the trailer video, because we talk about this all the time on Thursdays, but his trailer video is less than 2 minutes in length. It's a very quick, short little video. But he came out with the world's cheapest and amazing camcorders. Now, he not only compares these camcorders for you, these are all cameras that he owns. These are all cameras that he has listed down here in the bottom, where you can go get them, and they start at $16. And he shows you what it looks like. So starting at $16, going all the way up to $600. So he's not going into, I'm going to say, prosumer type stuff, but he's going into, these are all camcorders, every one of these. And this is all stuff that you easily could use. Now, some of these low-priced ones, I'm going to say everything up to the $100, I could not recommend. I could not recommend any of those. The $150 Sony is the first one I could say, yeah, that would probably do you very well. And it goes on up here. The $260 Vixia R800, that's a Canon camcorder. That's what I use. I have a R700 and I have an R800. I have two of them. The only reason I have two is we had an R700 first, and I happened to run across an open box deal at a store. I was familiar with the camera, and I got it real reasonable. I don't think they had any idea what it was worth, and I paid less than $100 for it. So, that's the cameras that I have. So this video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the chat here, because I think the guys, they're easy to watch videos. They're kind of entertaining. So that's a link to this video. This is just camcorders. And he not only has these laying out here on the table, as you can see here, he's got them laying out here on the table, but he demonstrates each and every one of them, shows you what the picture looks like, talks a little bit about them, tells you if they have an external mic input or not, if they have stabilization in them or not. It gives you a good input. Now, if you notice in the background of him, there is some high dollar equipment. So this guy does some, he's pretty serious into his photography stuff. So even though his this particular channel only has 18,000 subscribers and his other channel has over 250,000, he's going to be jumping up there real quick. So this is your opportunity to see somebody grow very quickly. I just have a feeling that his channel is going to just take off and grow. He's got the knowledge behind that. He's got a good personality. He's got a good, interesting subject here. So this is his one on camcorders, and this is his one on cameras. Let's see if I can find
most of those categories.
Okay, so he has put all these cameras out here. And I will also put the link to this one. Now, I will also say, if this guy would have set up his channel what we consider to be the right way, he would have had an email address in the back, and he does not. I would have sent him an email and said, "Hey, I'd love to get you on a Tuesday night show and talk about cameras." I don't know that he would do that, but I would love to have that opportunity. But if I go to his primary channel and I go back in his About section, and for those of you that have joined us on a Thursday night, you know, one of the things that I tell you is very important is, okay, where is your email? How does somebody get a hold of you? Well, he does have a Facebook here, so that's a possibility. But if you're like me, you absolutely can't stand and hate Facebook. He does have a website. I have not checked all this stuff out, but I came here looking for an email, and it's just not here. And I know that he can't have this channel without having an email. I go to this channel. Stop that. And I go back to the About page. Same thing. No email. So maybe this guy should join us on a Thursday night and learn how to better present his channel a little bit. He also does the same thing as you've heard me talk about in the description, where you need to have some more blank space, some white space to see. So anyway, we found that a little bit interesting. And in doing my talk here and moving everything else around, I have neglected to look at the chat. So I'm kind of at your, if anybody has said anything here in the past or had questions, please pop it back in the chat right now while I have a moment. We've been on here for a little over an hour, and I'm thinking that we're going to have to let everybody go for the evening. I see Bill on the Rock Homestead is stating only AT&T towers are out his way. Yeah, our deal here in the area we live is heavily Verizon. And even with all the traveling we do, we find Verizon to be pretty darn good. If I had to have two, I would probably have AT&T and Verizon. I'd probably have those two. Lisa Lee, thoughts on refurbished cameras for sale? Lisa, I'm going to say it depends on where you're buying. If you're buying, just for example, if you went to the Canon website and you wanted a refurbished camera from them, I would have no qualms about buying a refurbished Canon camera from the Canon website. Absolutely none. They stand behind their warranty. They're good quality cameras. So I would have absolutely no hesitancy. Now, having said that, it was about a year ago, I was looking real strong at getting a Canon M50, and I was on their website, and they had some refurbished ones, but at that time, they also had a sale going. and I could actually buy a brand new, not refurbished, for less money than they were selling the refurbished for. So you want to be careful with that. Fishes and Lowe's Life, an exterior hard drive. Those are so cheap. I would by all means recommend that. And the plus side of that is that's going to work with any computer. So, I mean, you could get terabytes of external storage for under $100. Now, there's nothing wrong with used equipment, too. And I certainly understand you don't want... I can understand a hesitancy with used equipment, especially if it's something you're not intimately familiar with. If you've never had an SLR camera, how do you know the way it should act to buy new into it? Used equipment, that would be a hesitancy on my part, without question. You know, if I can get a brand new one in the store for $800, and here's a guy that's got, it looks brand new, but I just don't know. There's no warranty because I'm buying it from an individual. Okay, I can save, let's say, $150, but there's no warranty. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's all new to me. It's all Greek. I think I would have to lean towards spending the extra $150 to have the satisfaction in my mind that okay, this is mine. It's going to work correctly. If it doesn't, the company's going to stand behind it. Mama Z, how much did that 5 terabyte hard drive cost you? Probably not all that much. I'm going to guess, what, $120 maybe? So are the states opening back up where everybody is at? I'm curious. They're starting to open up here in Ohio a little bit. They've had pictures locally here on Facebook and stuff. Okay, Mama Z, yeah, right at $120. That's for, I think she said 5 terabytes. So I have downstairs in my old computer stuff, and for those of you that maybe know, maybe don't know, I mean that I was an IT guy. Computers have been a hobby of mine for a very, very, very long time, and I have a one. Oh man, I hate to admit this. I have a hard drive downstairs. It's a SCSI hard drive. It is 1 gigabit in size. 1 gigabyte in size. That hard drive is in an external storage container with a power supply that its connectivity is an SCSI cable. That's SCSI cable. This is all older technology. But that external hard drive was designed to plug into a IBM 486 computer, and the cost on that was $49.95, and that's not $49.95. That's $4,995. What that sold for back in the day. And I happen to own one of those that I had saved up my dollars and cents and paid $5,000 for a 1 gigabyte SCSI hard drive. It's how long I've been in the computer game. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want a special thank you to our moderators. I see Sherry was she's just taking it easy in the other room. I mean, she's okay. She's just thought it would be better that she lay down and take it easy. And so I appreciate our moderators. Those folks that are dressed in green here, that have Smudge's profile face behind them, they're all members of the Smudge's Peoples, and that's what really helps support the channel here, because we don't have the high views on the videos that some others do. Oh, and let me just share with you, in case you're not aware, good friend of ours. Imagine you all know them, Roots and Refuge. They were featured in a new Google release advertisement. I do want to share this with you because it's just neat. So let me pull that up before I go away here. All right. So this is a video called Google Meet, now free for everyone. It's a 1 minute long video. It's an advertisement for Google, but at roughly, let's see here, 35 seconds into this 1 minute video. Oh, there they are. So that was them. If you all got to see that, we'll back it up. Get to see it one more time. Right there they are. Roots and Refuge, featured in a Google advertisement. And I've not talked to them. I don't know what. I'm sure that they got their approval to do that, but there they are. I'm not getting their approval. I'm just showing it here. So we'll see if she gets mad at me. I doubt it. But congratulations to them for being there. Just reminds me of a little pixie. Don't tell her so. All right, Lazy Bunny, we have that. You know, that's here. It's here for all to see. And I will go ahead and I will share the link to this video. This is a new. I've not investigated it very much yet, but I think Google Meet is what is replacing Hangouts. This is the link to that video. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Again, special thank you to our members. If you want to become a Smudges people, you can click that join button below. We're more than happy to have you. There should be some stuff going out this week. I'm pretty sure Sherry said it was going to be this week to all of our current members. It's just our way of paying back. You guys help support us, and we definitely pay that back. I have created some new artwork as far as some decals and window stickers. So let me also share that if I can get there in time. Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is either a decal or an iron-on. And I have it going both directions. So either direction. And I did that with reason, because if you take those that are about 3 inches wide and put it on your sleeve, that way you can show your guns with the guns, for whatever that's worth. So, all right, everybody have a great evening. Not sure who is on. I suppose I ought to look. I should know this stuff, but I depend on Sherry so much for helping me out with this stuff. Let's see. Camp Benton Family Campground is on. Everything Spicy is on. Southern Blessed Homestead is live now. Country Homestead Preacher is also live now. Live and Light RV is also live. Lazy Acres Homestead is also live. Ridge Life is live. The Simple Joys is live. Rolling Through Life is live. Baker's Green Acres is live. Everybody in the world is live tonight. Locked and Loaded 100%. Mapleberry Farms just quit 5 seconds ago. I guess they're on the same time that we are. So if you go stop anywhere, be sure to tell them that Smudge sent you. And we thank you all for being here. I want you to take care. We'll see you again Thursday night. Have a wonderful evening.